Welcome to our new series, The 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie.
So I guess I should get to my third movie. So as usual, I was just browsing, and this one caught my eye because I saw it on, you know how TikTok, YouTube has like the shorts, like scenes from a movie or scenes from a show, and you're watching it like, okay, that's interesting. What's going on? Why is this happening? Have you ever got that? How this is how they
Yeah.
get you. So
hmm
I saw a scene from this
Curiosity.
movie, and again, I think this is on. I think this one's on Netflix. I could be wrong, but either way, it was definitely free. Um, but I saw the 2016 movie Colossal with Anne Hathaway, and I also Jason Sudeikis, who is in Ted Lasso. Um,
Oh yeah, I've never heard of this movie. It's
no, but
2016.
2016, and the scene is so it's a weird premise, and in a weird way, this movie's very heavy. But basically, there's this little playground by where. Well, let me explain the scene first. So I'm going to kind of start with the middle. But anyhow, Anne Hathaway is
Okay.
on this like little playground, and whenever she's on this playground, this almost like Godzilla, King Kong like monster in South Korea, um,
What?
basically appears and is terrorizing. So it's almost like whatever she does there, a monster magically appears in this one area and is terrorizing South Korea. So at
Okay.
first she thinks it's a joke, and then she kind of realizes like certain hand movements, and obviously she accidentally, trips and falls and knocks over a building, and now she's kind of devastated. So that's the scene. Like it's a real quick scene that I saw on TikTok. So I was trying to explain what caught it. So I'm like, okay, there's something weird about this, but I am intrigued. So basically, now let me get to the point of the movie. It starts off Anne Hathaway. She, as Soto, me and you can probably attest to back in our days, she was a very heavy drinker. Um, that's how she lived her life. And she's coming home
hmm
one night, and our boyfriend's waiting for her, and just basically what happened, and she's lying about it. She's like, "Oh, I had to go here, and then I had to wait for this person." And he's like, "Listen, I can't do this anymore. I have your bags packed. I'm just, basically, he's like, this is too much. You need help." So she goes back home,
Wow.
and she goes back to her childhood home, and she's meeting some friends, and her friend Oscar, the guy Ted Lasso, he's running a bar, and he's basically like, "Hey, why don't you come?" He finds her. He's like, "Why don't you just come work for me for a little bit?" He's trying to help her get off her feet. The new love interest and stuff like that. Obviously, it being a bar, but she says yes. And on her way home, this is how she finds out. She's dragging things, from one place to her home, and she all over town now. She gets woken up because everyone's like watching on their phones this monster that has attacked South Korea. And she's like, "Oh my God, this is insane. Is this real? Is this made up?" And but she knows it's not because it's everyone's watching it and talking about it. And then next night happens, she passes by again. Now she has this nervous tick where she scratches like the top of her head. And that's how she figures it out. She sees this monster do that nervous tick one time as she's watching. And she played back. She's like, "Wait, that's me. I do that." So she kind of solves the fact that anytime she's standing in this area, the monster appears in South Korea. And so at first she's like, "Oh my God, this is weird." And she takes her friends, like, "Look what I can do." Ooh, and they're just like, and they're looking at her, looking at the monster on the phone, like, "What the fuck?" And that's when she trips, knocks over buildings. And now she's devastated because she killed like about 100 people. Like, and she was just goofing off. I say this movie's heavy because a lot of this deals with alcoholism and
hmm
if you really look at the inside, because now she's like, I can't be this person. I need to be better. She actually, what happens is she tries to start, she learns like Korean, like, "I'm sorry." She gets, "I'm sorry. It was an accident. It'll never happen again." And she appears and she kind of writes it in the sand on the other side. But what happens is her friend is trying to make her not trip. Turns out when he's in the area, like this playground, he's a giant robot. So now there's two fucking monsters, and he's had a boring life, his whole life. That's all. So when she's came back, his love interest, he's happy. So now he's goofing off, like he's getting drunk, and he's like now trying to, be the giant monster. He's like, my life has meaning, and she's trying to stop him. So it's this weird thing, like how people, when they're drinking, she knows she wants to get better and he doesn't, and it's the idea of like, what is addiction? What drags you down? The people that you love. And
yeah,
I don't want to say more, but I was actually quite impressed with this. Like I was expecting to watch a goofy movie. Because again, I saw this on TikTok. I'm like, what the fuck is this monster? I don't know if you just now were kind of looking it up. But I was amazed by it. I'm like, this is actually really good. There's a lot of heart to this if you get by, because it's what affects us, it's hard to push away it's easy to hurt people when you don't see them, but it's hard, when the people who are there, that care for you, can you push them away? That's, like I said, there is, especially with these two, and there is a reason why it happens in this area, you find out, and it actually doesn't matter too much, because it's more of the other story, but yeah, I really did like this film. This was definitely more interesting than I thought it was going to be, because I was just like, all right, I just want to see what's this giant monster. But yeah, and it's funny because, one time when he's drunk and being the giant robot, she steps on the field, kind of pushes him and points like, no. And she's become the hero of South Korea. So every time they see that, you hear cheers. And, she's not trying to. She just doesn't want her friend to damage. And it's basically his control. He's like, listen, if you don't come to work or, because she wants to go back to New York City, he's like, I will just stomp all over the friggin' playground, and so she has to, so it's like, how is she going to stop him? Because he's now become an ass. So yeah, it's, it is very good, but it's a very weird concept. So I can see why some people don't like it. But as we've seen with my movie list, Soto, I fucking love the weird concept kind of movies.
You sure do. Yeah.
As long as as long as it's done well. Now I guess the real question.
These lists. Imagine when they're like 70.
I don't want to imagine it's. I know we're gonna get there.
We are.
That. All right, so this is gonna be. I'm feeling this right now. I am putting this at number 15. I'm putting this under Terrifier 2 and above Les Mis. Back-to-back Anne Hathaway movies. Actually, I just realized that. That's kind of where I'm thinking about it right now, because, like I said, the heart of this movie is there, and I really liked it, and it is a good film. Again, weird concept. Get past that, you can see what this movie's trying to. And like I said, it's a good metaphor of addiction, not just obviously alcoholism, but that's the main part of this story. But it's just the idea of can you get past it? Who's your friends? Who's the people that are trying to harm you? And that I liked it, and all that's just in them, in a weird way becoming monsters, though they're not. Like, they can't see what they're doing, but I don't know. Like I said, this is one that I know. I don't know if this was really a hit. Again, but I was surprised. I was like, because I didn't recognize that it was Anne Hathaway at first when I saw this. I mean, the clip, because again, she was kind of far away, and I didn't seem like her style of movie, but it was good. Not much more I can say about it, but yes,
never heard of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I only found it because I saw a short, and it was that thing. She realizes she's the monster. She's showing her friends, ooh, she's and she's like, that's me. And so I never heard of it, but I saw that. I had to look it up. I'm like, hey, it's free, and me, when it's free, we gotta watch it. So yeah, so that's where it's at right now. I think it's gonna be right. I almost said middle, but I'm at like 42. But yeah, so number 15. That's where it's at for me right now.
Nice. Okay, and I've never heard of it, so I will have to look that up.